Hi, I'm Laura York with Rosie's Creative Cottage, and I am super stoked today to be on live with Giuseppe. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Most of you know him as Giucy Giuce. He's a fabulous fabric designer, and he creates all those tiny piecing pieces that we all love and lust after the ability to make. And I'm excited because he's coming to our November retreat, November 5th through the 9th at the Whatever Craft House in Newton, Kansas. But enough of me chatting. Let's talk to Giucy. Tell us about what you're going to be teaching the girls at our retreat.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna be doing a fun little tiny piecing workshop. But it's gonna be a little bit of a mystery element to it.
I love
Um, it,
that.
yeah, it's a good time. We're gonna be tackling, I have like all sorts of tips and tricks for tiny piecing. We do have like 2 days that we're gonna be working together, so there's plenty of time to kind of master it. Like it doesn't don't feel like you need to come into it like knowing how to tiny piece. It's gonna be 100% just like from the ground up, all of my tiny piecing tips and tricks. And yeah, it's a fun time. We'll kind of like reveal the project little by little, work on it slowly, and you got all these fun little components to make a either I like to make pillow tops out of them. That's my favorite kind of thing to make out of like these kinds of like the tiny blocks and stuff like that. Obviously, it makes a really great mini quilt too. But yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
our
make
sampler is going to be like 18 and a half by 18 and a half. So that's
mhm,
a perfect size for a pillow.
yeah,
And I don't know about you, but I have so many big quilts and I live in Florida. What do I need with a bunch of big quilts? But to have something that I can hang on the wall and especially have as a remembrance of our time together.
mhm.
Um, you know, maybe share with people because I have to say, the first time I saw it, and luckily I got to work with you at Sisters and I learned firsthand, I thought it was going to be painfully hard, but it's not. I was thrilled.
Yeah, it's really not. People, the thing I always say, I've said this so many times. The thing I always say is I don't teach tiny piecing. I teach like an act of bravery of just trying it. Because once you get past it, like you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this isn't that bad at all. Like it's just really not. And there's so many fun things. The whole mini series, the patterns that we use for the workshop, they're all kind of they retrofit into all sorts of projects. So you're not just making the pillow, you're learning the technique to make something that you can then incorporate into bags, into clothing, into all sorts of things like little projects like wallets, Christmas ornaments, coasters, mug rugs, like just all of these different things that you can make once you kind of have this technique down. They're like such fun little they're great palette cleansers like between big projects, like if you are working on big quilts and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? Just like a little thing to kind of knock out to just kind of um feel like you're just working at something, but you need to kind of just take a deep breath, but you zen out on them completely. Yeah, I
And
just
that's what was so amazing to me because I thought it was going to be like so intense and I would walk out of there, ready for a drink or something.
sure, yeah,
but
totally.
I really wanted to take my sewing machine back to the hotel and work on it some more because I was just so into the groove of it.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe tell people about their fabric choices and stuff if they're lucky enough. First of all, I'm super stoked because we only have 10 spots available. And right now, we're doing pretty well. So people need to jump on. But as far as fabrics, what would you suggest they think about bringing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Anything really kind of like small, I mean, I'd be a pretty cruddy fabric designer if I told people to use solids, right? I think I like prints a lot for this kind of thing. And when you're thinking about prints, you want to think about like small scale stuff that reads as texture. That's the kind of stuff, like the kind of print to kind of pick. And then when you're thinking about colors, we'll talk pretty extensively about color, but what I always think about is kind of like through line of color. That can mean a lot of things, right? That can mean like light to dark, that can mean like color order, it can mean analogous color, like parts of the color wheel, right? Like like a warm hue palette or a cool palette. Um,
And
all of
that's
these
all the
kinds of
stuff that you
different.
share with us during the class, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
I came in there with like 10 times too much fabric, but then I was glad because I had a lot of choices and I
Well,
was
so
able to really
you can
think
bring
through.
like you can bring scraps too, right? So like
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
like unsure about like the kind of palette that you want to do, like bring a warm palette, bring a cool palette, bring like just like a whole mess of scraps, and then we can pull stuff out of it. Like you don't have to bring like tubs of fabric, right? Like you can
Uh,
bring just like these like little tiny pieces of all these different kinds of colors and stuff like that, and we can make pretty kind
and
of
they could be
awesome
memory pieces too, scraps of fabric from loved ones' clothing and
yeah.
stuff. How
Oh
wonderful would
yeah.
that be? Just to have
Yeah.
those little fragments. Gee, it is going to be so much fun. And I'm really excited because I get to feed you 3 meals a day.
I've been really excited about those pictures you've been sending me. They look real good. They look real tasty. I won't
Well,
tell that to
I do
everybody. I'm
enjoy
a food
cooking.
snob. So
Well, well, we do eat pretty well there. But
it
again,
looks like it.
people can look on your website. They can also look on my website to see lots of examples, just so they could start percolating some ideas about their color palettes. I
Mhm.
think we're in for a great retreat. I'm looking so forward to it, and I can't wait for us to share time together.
Yeah, if you're looking for like even more inspo, if you go onto like Instagram and you just search like mini series sew along,
Okay,
there are just like I mean, I'm talking like thousands of pictures of all sorts of beautiful inspiration from past sew alongs that we've done. And there's just so much, like just so many beautiful and inventive ways people have used the fabrics to kind of make them like the projects feel really personal and very them, very like you know.
cool.
So I would check that out for sure. There's so much.
And I think you're going to also bring a pop up shop for us, and we're going to get to hear some tales of all your designing work, and maybe even a little sneak peek at what's coming out in the spring.
Sure, I could do that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
We like to be cutting edge, G. We want to know
yeah,
everything that's coming down the pike, brother.
absolutely. Yeah, I might actually. Well, don't hold me to this, but I might have a quilt made by them with my spring collection. Might depends if I get fabric
Wow.
or not. I don't have fabric yet. If I get fabric, I probably will have something by
Oh,
then.
how cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, you actually would be the first ones to see it really based on like my schedule and stuff like that. So that would be pretty cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, it's November 5th through the 9th. Go to rosiescreativecottage.com, sign up and jump in because we don't have very many spots. And I'll
Not
see
a lot.
you pretty soon. Thanks, G.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.